pal Rob. So this video is to follow up on a video that we talked about whether, you know, King of Death Monster still is relevant, number one. Number two, which I really believe it's still relevant. Number two is Adam Potts, or whatever you want to call him, Poots, I believe it is. Is he a villain or a rock star? I mean, now there's two different ways to look at this. We ran a poll on the channel, and surprisingly, when we asked the question, there was a good part of the populace that saw him as a villain because of how long it's taken to finish up this Kingdom Death Monster. But a lot of people said that he's a little bit of both. Okay, and I wanted to give, after investigating, reading all the comments, trying to do some investigation of myself, the lack of hearing from him at Gen Con, where you know, let's face it, that was their showcase. Okay, that booth that they had, boy, the lines would be all the way back into the other section there. I remember that year after year with this game, and it was one of those things that I actually tried to get the base game there, and I wanted to go in line. It was sold out in a heartbeat. Okay, and all the figures were sold out, and everything was sold out, and you know, he was there meeting with the crowds, and then on the other hand, you know, there's this disappearing act kind of that's happened, and some of the very vague responses that people have gotten, to the point where it's actually been kind of sarcastic in some ways. Okay, you know, you can't take everything for what it is. But I wanted to give my final thoughts on what I really feel, and after all my investigation and looking into this subject, what I really think. And I think Adam Poots is a mad genius. And you're kind of, I know you're kind of sitting back in your chair going, huh? Well, you look at any great artist and how quirky they could be. Andy Warhol, okay, was probably one of the most introverted people that you ever saw, but his genius stood out. There's just so many different types of artists that you can't figure out what their lack of personality, and I don't think it's so much lack of personality with Adam Poots as much as what I'm trying to explain here in the sense of the way that, you know, a lot of these people that are very, very smart and very artistic have a hard time communicating to people or being able to manage. Their creativity is so out there. Look at the changes that were made, even though people didn't ask for the changes, because he saw it in a creativity way to, forgive me, I trip over the words because I could barely hear out of this ear. It's hard to hear myself speak. But the point I'm trying to make is that here is a guy that is trying to do good, but it's gotten out of control. And could he have gotten bored in some sense and started looking to something else? That could have happened as well. That wouldn't be surprising with an artist. When you work on a certain project and then you skip to another project or something else catches your eye. What really lacks here is a project manager and hiring the right people in place to take this off his hand and let him be creative. I think that's what this project suffers from and has suffered from all along. Not being able to manage things correctly. I don't think things are done maliciously. I think things are done in the point where it's gotten to the point where it's so chaotic that it takes away from what needs to be done. And there are people that need to be hired. Let's face it, this Kickstarter generated a lot of money. I mean, I'm not talking, you know, nickels and dimes. We're talking in the millions. And to have somebody come in, maybe even short term, just to kind of clean things up, would be a step in the right direction. The other thing is communication, which I don't think is one of his strong points. His strong points are creating a tremendous world. Let's look at Kingdom Death Monster for what it is. It's a very imaginative, very dark look at humanity, and it's done beautifully. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It is one of those cult. What's the word I'm looking for? It's one of those Grail games for some people. And it really stands out as that for what it is. And it has shined. The people that have played it have loved it. The people, right now, there's a lot of people that are sore and not saying a lot of good things. Okay. And it's understandable. Okay. You're not putting out $50 on a Kickstarter. You're putting out anywhere from $400 to $500. Okay. And then people don't mind waiting, but they want something. And communication seems to be a big lack there, especially when I read the comments. This treasure box that they're supposed to come with, and forgive me, I forget the name of it. This has been a very sore subject because it has been changed and it still hasn't delivered and it's late. And there's no communication or a last minute kind of, we're kind of at it. If you just are upfront and honest, I think it'll go a long way. And I really feel that this particular artist suffers from some people say it's ego, his ego is out of control. Well, how many great artists, their ego is out of control? You take a look at musicians like Prince, that was completely, egocentric, to the point that it was terrifying. Michael Jackson and all his issues and things like that. And I'm not talking about the weirdo issues. I'm talking about as things have to be a certain way and things like that. That's what happens when you have these artists that are unbelievably creative. How do they relate to the public? They don't. So you hire somebody to do that for you. You get your message across. You have somebody keep you on task, or at least keep you in a right direction. Because if you allow an artist like this to kind of just free range things, you're going to find they're all over the place. That's just the way their minds work. And I think that's what Adam Poots suffers from. An extremely large ego, which isn't a horrible thing. Okay, it's good to be confident in yourself, but also that mad genius type of thing, and that introvertedness in some ways, or I wouldn't even say introverted, because I've seen him talk to people, but I think he cannot communicate what needs to be done. I don't think he's a project manager. I don't think he's a businessman. Maybe that's the best way to put it. He's not a businessman. He's an artist. And this is where Kingdom Death Monster has suffered and really gone through some bumps. And, can it be straightened out? Yeah, with a couple simple hirings, okay? There are a lot of good people out there that would get this thing on the right track. And if you wanted to take it in a different direction and do another Kickstarter, people would back you if you just come out and open up and speak the truth, or have somebody do it for you that can relate to the populace, someone that can communicate with the populace. People will wait forever if you just tell them the truth. Okay? Come around and say, boy, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm having a hard time with this. I'm having a hard time getting things done here, but I promise you I will get to the finish line at some point, somehow, some way. People will wait. People would wait. And, by the poll we ran, and you could find it here on Rob's Tabletop World, just go to our community and you'll scroll down, you'll see the poll. You'll find, by looking at that poll, he's not really seen as a villain by I think it was like 13%. Okay, most of it is he's just a little bit of both. Okay, that he needs to do things a little differently, and people are willing to wait. People love this guy. People love Kingdom Death Monster. There is a big fandom for it. And you look at that poll, it spells it out. And you look at all the comments, there's people that are upset. There's no doubt about it. But in their hearts of hearts, if they got a sincere and truthful email or update, I think you would find it would go a long, long way. It really would. And it would help. So my conclusion, mad genius, hire somebody to help you. Hire somebody to keep you on task. Hire somebody to get this project so you can do future projects. If you're bored of this project, let's finish this one up and then let those creative juices go into your next project. Only this time, make sure that you have a good project manager to get you to the finish line. And I think you will find that things will go a lot easier and you will be at peace with yourself as well as your fans that will follow you into the sea. There's no doubt about it. So those are my final thoughts on Kingdom Death Monster. Adam Poots, is he villain or rock star? I think he's neither. I think he's just a man that is very, very, very extremely creative and is not a really great businessman and really can use a project manager to help him with his projects. He's human, folks. So let's see if maybe, things change in the future. Maybe he sees this video and goes, yeah. Or maybe he just never sees it and can care less. Doesn't matter. But we put it out there and let's see what happens. Hopefully it turns out for the best, especially for all the people that backed this tremendous, tremendous game. So until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.